HarperCollins presents DadVentures, amazing outdoor adventures for daring dads and fearless kids. Written and read by Alex Gregory. To my parents and grandparents who showed me the value of being outdoors, for my children Jasper, Daisy and Jessie, here's to making many more happy memories together under the big blue sky. Introduction. You can't keep a toad under your bed. It wouldn't be happy. Toads like living in the garden. These could so easily have been my mum's words echoing around our house as a 7-year-old me tried to smuggle a creature into my room. But in reality, this was a snatch of conversation I heard in the upstairs of our home as my partner Emily tried to persuade our son Jasper to put the toad he'd brought into his bedroom back outside into the front garden. Frogs and toads seem to be plentiful in the small garden of our rented cottage, and they've provided us with some exciting evening adventures. A few years ago, in our last house, it was hedgehogs, and before that, well, there's always something to do outdoors. There are 5 of us in the house, 2 adults and 3 children, but a whole host of other creatures seem to have joined our menagerie along the way. Emily is the one who keeps us all going. She feeds us all, looks after us, and stops our lives from grinding to a screeching halt. We first met at university many years ago. As I was going into our housing block from early rowing training sessions on the river, she'd be returning home from a night out with friends, living a far more typical university lifestyle than me. We'd stop and chat, and soon discovered that we got on very well. We enjoyed each other's company, and I found I wanted to spend more time with her than in a boat on the river. That was something new, and something that I couldn't ignore. We happily started to spend the rare free time we had together getting to know each other, understanding each other and sharing dreams and future aspirations. Emily was incredibly patient. I was pursuing a seemingly impossible dream, meaning my free time was limited to almost nothing. This meant that very quickly in our relationship we recognised the value of quality time. My days were spent out on rivers, lakes or in the gym, essentially working a full-time job while at university. I didn't drink, I didn't socialise that much, I made as many lectures as I possibly could, but my life was focused on one specific thing, the Olympics. I tried and I failed. Year after year, I spent 7 days a week, 3 times a day training, only to fall at the last hurdle. For so many different reasons, I wasn't reaching my potential and was coming up well short of my goals. But I never gave up. When everyone disappeared off home for the university holidays, I remained the only person in the block. Waking up that first morning was like a scene from a disaster movie in which everyone except me had disappeared. Emily had returned home to her family on the Isle of Wight, but I could never go back to my family home or go and visit hers because of training or racing. Thankfully for me, Emily was prepared to stick with me, and I pursued my sporting career on lakes and rivers in far-flung places around the world. As time went by, we both graduated. Emily followed a career in teaching, while I continued to battle it out for Olympic selection. We rented a tiny cottage in the centre of Henley-on-Thames and settled down, moving forward with our lives. Emily became an excellent primary school teacher in a tough school on the outskirts of Reading, but things weren't going so well for me and my sporting career was on the ropes. In a world in which performance is everything, I was certainly falling short. So it was with a great deal of luck that I was selected to travel with the 2008 Olympic rowing team to Beijing as a reserve. It seemed to be a bittersweet ending to my career because after this trip I decided to walk away from the sport forever, as I was obviously not cut out for a life as a successful Olympic rower. But it was there, sitting on the sidelines in China, that everything changed for me as an athlete and for us as a couple. I returned home from China with renewed motivation and vigour and set myself new goals, new challenges. I wasn't giving up just yet. We weren't quite expecting what life had in store for us, as a few brief months after my trip as Olympic reserve, we discovered we were going to have our first child. It was a shock, a big shock, and not exactly in my grand plan. I had just found myself on a new path, and for the first time I was starting to excel in the sport I'd so nearly given up. There was a great deal of pressure on me to perform, and I was only just beginning to do that, moving up the ranks within the team and reaching the position I'd need to be in to start competing for medals on the world stage. Life had taken an unexpected turn, and although I felt incredibly unsure about what it might entail, Emily remained
Sample complete. Ready to continue?